This chapter emphasizes that giftedness is not only about academics. We've tried to express that throughout all of the modules that we've covered, but we're really going to hit home with this particular one regarding the whole child. Gifted students may experience perfectionism, isolationism, asynchronous development, or underachievement. Our goal is to understand these needs and consider how counseling and school-based supports can foster healthy growth. I'm Dr. Lori Benoit with McNeese State University. This is Education 686, Characteristics of Gifted Individuals. This module is going to be covering understanding and counseling gifted students, and it is based on Education of the Gifted and Talented, Chapter 17. Let's go ahead and jump in with this important topic. This chapter emphasizes that giftedness is not only about academics, it's about the whole child. Gifted students may experience many types of things in school. As we mentioned, perfectionism and underachievement, while it seems like these are not things that would be associated with gifted students who are highly intelligent, they are. Additionally, they struggle with identity issues just like other children do, but because of their keen sensitivity, sometimes they're more pronounced. We also want to examine the role of counseling and support services that are offered in schools. These are the most common struggles counselors and teachers see. For example, a student may be capable of high-level reasoning, but still emotionally on par with same-age peers. Understanding this uneven development helps us better support them. So perfectionism and anxiety often go hand in hand. This fear of failure and high self-imposed standards can really wreak havoc when it comes to these perfectionist students. Some of them experience what's called extreme perfectionism. And it may manifest itself in super overachievement, but believe it or not, it can also manifest itself in underachievement. I've seen perfectionist gifted students who can't turn work in unless it is absolutely perfect. And of course, we know that, especially when it comes to more creative types of works, we may never feel that they're completely perfect. This brings us to underachievement. These students disengage when they're unchallenged, and oftentimes, especially when they begin to deal with certain interpersonal or social and emotional issues, we will see that really splash over into their academic interests and achievements. When they don't understand how to self-regulate in some of the social contexts, or they don't know, they're not very attuned at regulating their own emotions, we will also see underachievement manifest. They also have identity and peer relation issues. Sometimes they have difficulty fitting in. They often sometimes will mask their own abilities in order to better fit in. Remember also that many gifted students are also dual exceptional. So they might be neurodivergent and have some sort of diagnosis where they're on the autism spectrum disorder of some sorts. That can really intensify some of the social and interpersonal relationships that they have. And of course, asynchronous development. They have very advanced intellect, but extreme emotional immaturity issues. And then vice versa. They might be very emotionally mature, and they might be very gifted in dealing with social and emotional situations, but they might actually be underperforming when it comes to some more intellectual or academic things. And we also see asynchronous development when students have like really high giftedness in a certain area, such as the arts or math. We sometimes will see their lack of development. It's not across the board, and we might see that show up in different ways as well. So now let's talk about some counseling approaches. Counseling should be proactive, of course, not just reactive. Group sessions help normalize experiences, while mentors provide perspective. And importantly, Collaboration among educators and families ensures that students don't slip through the cracks. Individual and group counseling are very important, and they each have their role to play. Um, if you are a classroom teacher, believe it or not, you are going to step into that counseling role at times. It simply comes with the job. You won't just be teaching content, you are teaching the whole child. So consider how even using some SEL components and embedding those into your lessons could also be used for some small group pullouts that actually kind of function as almost a way for them to talk out some of the issues that they may be having either individually with you or with a small group of like-minded and like-valued peers. Mentorship programs can also be extremely valuable. Pairing them with role models can really make a difference and create a safe space for them to open up about some of the challenges that they may be experiencing socially and academically. Psychoeducational means teaching coping strategies. This can be such a critical piece to embed within our counseling of students, but also just think about embedding it within the curriculum overall. When we are talking about goal setting, when we are talking about resilience, when we're talking about test taking strategies, these types of coping strategies can be embedded into all of those things and more that are simply natural ways that we embed life skills and practical skills into what we're teaching to help develop the whole child. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, collaboration is key. Parents, teachers, counselors, we all need to be communicating, especially when we're in perhaps some intense counseling sessions with our students. It's very important that everybody be made aware of what's going on and how we can all work together to support the needs of our students. Let's talk a little bit about some Louisiana resources and then, of course, some national resources. The Louisiana Department of Education acknowledges social and emotional needs in planning for gifted students. It's actually on the IEP that they have a social goal. On a broader level, the National Association of Gifted Children and Supporting Emotional Needs of the Gifted, SING, provide families and schools with resources to support well-being. SING's parent groups are especially valuable for normalizing the challenges that families face. So these all provide really valuable resources. Not only do I recommend that you bookmark them for when you're supporting parents and students, but I also recommend that you might want to check them out for the case study that you're going to be doing for this class. You might find some of them valuable. Let's just consider this scenario. This is a case of a seventh grader who is academically outstanding, but struggles with extreme anxiety before tests. The student avoids taking intellectual risks and tends to choose only assignments that feel safe. At first glance, teachers might think the student is excelling, but in reality, the child is trapped by perfectionism. This is where counseling and parent resources come in. For example, SING, Supporting Emotional Needs of the Gifted, offers parent discussion groups and workshops designed to help families understand that perfectionism is common in gifted students. Parents can learn how to reinforce healthy coping strategies at home, such as normalizing mistakes, modeling risk-taking, and helping children set more realistic expectations. In the school setting, a counselor might use group sessions where gifted students share experiences of stress and perfectionism. These conversations help students realize they're not alone and that their feelings are valid. Pairing this with strategies from SING, schools can bridge home and school support, creating a consistent message that growth, not perfectionism, is the goal. And when these are embedded in an IEP and all teachers are made aware, and perhaps even have some strategies that they can implement with the student, this makes test taking much easier. Everybody understands that this seventh grader is going to be stressed before the unit test, maybe giving some box breathing techniques or just reminding the student to stop periodically during the test, collect her thoughts, and then perhaps even making sure that she has access to make for her physical needs, such as bottled water or a snack, All of these types of things can be very helpful in supporting the student work through this anxiety surrounding test taking. So let's review the key takeaways. The big takeaway: social emotional development must be a priority when we're supporting gifted students. Counseling, mentorship, and collaboration are vital tools for ensuring these students thrive, not just academically, but as individuals. Giftedness includes unique emotional needs, not just grades. Counseling is essential for addressing perfectionism, identity, and peer challenges. And collaboration among educators, parents, and counselors strengthens the support systems that we have in place to meet the needs of these very valuable and important students. So let's reflect on this module. Gifted students are often seen only through the lens of their abilities, but today's chapter and this module that we've covered today reminds us that they also face emotional and psychological challenges. The first question, how can schools balance academic rigor with emotional support for gifted learners, invites us to think about the concept of balance when supporting our students. The second question, what role should counselors, teachers, and parents each play in addressing social and emotional needs, helps us reflect on how we can leverage the resources and the connections that we have within our school system to meet and stretch students intellectually without increasing their stress or neglecting their mental health. The second question also highlights the concept of shared responsibility. Teachers notice day-to-day patterns. Counselors bring specialized training in social emotional development, and parents provide that context from home that is so valuable to supporting our students as we try to partner with them in this important work. It's most effective when all of these components, all of these stakeholders work together. The final question, which strategies from today's session could you apply in your own context, is allowing you to apply your learning. Think about what resonated most. Maybe it was the understanding of perfectionism that you're gaining from this course and from your reading. Maybe it was recognizing that underachievement is even a coping mechanism that our students experience sometimes. Maybe it was learning about organizations like SING and some of the National Association for Gifted Children's resources. Think about the strategies and the resources and consider which ones perhaps you can use in your classroom right now and which ones you will use in the future as you support gifted students. I hope that you're enjoying these lessons, and we look forward to continuing our study together. Make sure that you are checking the learning platform for your reading, for any other assignments and tasks, that you are working on your major assessment for the course, and that you reach out to your instructor with any questions that you may have. Let's keep leading and loving and learning with and from our students. Have a great week.